So what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we're taking a look at the Xiaomi Smart TV Stick 4K. Now, this is an Android TV box, and this is meant to compete with your Fire TV Stick, with your Roku sticks, and other streaming devices. Now, as far as the specifications on this is going to come with Android TV, voice remote, as well as a built-in Chromecast, 2 gigs of RAM, 8 gigs of internal storage. This is going to come with Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, as well as DTS HD. And overall, this is going to be a solid streaming device. The specs are comparable to the Fire TV Stick 4K Max, but what we're going to do today is quickly unbox it, get it set up, test it. Of course, we're going to do a benchmark and just kind of see where it compares to the Fire TV Stick as well as other streaming devices. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. So just to let you guys know, I did pick this one up off AliExpress, but also purchased the bigger brother, which is the Xiaomi Mi Box S 3rd generation. Did a review on this first look, so if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and check it out. I'll go ahead and link it in the description of this video. So let's get onto it. The price on this was $63. Like I said, I did get it off AliExpress, but this is also available on Amazon. I'll go ahead and link it. We can go ahead and check it out on both websites. So let's quickly get it out of the box. So first up is going to be the remote control. This is a pretty simple remote, as you can see. Power button up top, Google Assistant, navigation, then you have your apps button right here, your back, your home button, dedicated Netflix, as well as dedicated private videos, and we do have the volume up and down controls. Now, the only difference that I saw from this remote versus the one on the Mi Box S is the fact that the Mi Box S does have a second row. So you can see we have YouTube, we also have the apps, Prime Videos, as well as Netflix. So it just added 2 more additional buttons on the Mi Box S. But apart from that, these are pretty much going to be identical. We are going to have an instructional manual. Hopefully we're not going to need that. I have a HDMI extension. So this is meant to plug into your stick, and then it can plug into the TV. That way, if you can't plug the stick in directly, you do have an adapter of sorts. We have a micro USB to USB-A. This is going to provide power. And we have the power brick. And yes, this is not a US plug, but as I mentioned in the Mi Box S video, they did send an adapter for me to go ahead and use. So again, if you order from the US, you won't have to deal with this issue. But if you order from AliExpress, you are going to need to get an adapter. And last but not least, we do have the Xiaomi Smart TV Stick 4K. I do like this design over the Fire TV Stick. Pretty good looking device. I do like the design over the Fire TV Stick. But in all essence, it's going to have similar layout. So HDMI right here. And I did mention that they did send this guy, so you can always use this. And then it makes it easier to reach into certain areas of your TV. Micro USB on the side. So this is for power. But of course, we're going to be testing and see if an OTG adapter works on this. As far as just size, comparable to the Fire TV Stick 4K Max, you can see they're almost identical in size, form factor. Width is real similar as well. So not much of a difference in the design. But like I said, just also want to mention there is an LED light right here that I'm guessing is going to show the status. But we'll check that out when we boot it up. So remote controls are also going to be similar. Xiaomi remote is going to be a little bit taller. Of course, the Fire TV Stick remote is going to have more buttons. Fire TV Stick remote is going to be a little bit wider, but again, both comfortable in your hands. But in this case, I actually prefer the Fire TV Stick remote over the Xiaomi. Let me know what you guys think. Do you like a simpler look, or do you want something that has more buttons, more options on the device? So let's go ahead and get this booted up, tested, and get into some of the benchmark results. All right, so there it is booting up. First boot, Android TV. So if you guys saw the other video on the Xiaomi TV Box S, difference there is that was actually Google TV. This is going to be Android TV. So let me know in the comment section, which user interface do you prefer? Do you prefer the newly updated Google TV user interface, or do you prefer Android TV, where it might be a little bit dated, but you do have more options for customization? Drop that in the comment section and let me know what you think. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go through the setup. I always recommend just signing in on your phone. It's just gonna be a lot easier. Easy as a couple steps on your phone. All right, so here we are in Android TV, and again, let me know in the comments section if you think Android TV is dated, if you think it's still where it needs to be as far as customization, still works well on most devices. As far as my opinion, I think it's starting to show its age and it could use an update. I do prefer Google TV over Android TV currently, but again, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. So before we do anything, let's just make sure this device is completely up to date. So let's go to our system updates and we'll just verify that nothing is pending that's out there. So looks like we do have an update right away, so I'm going to go ahead and download it, install it, and then of course I'll come back when it's all done. So here we are again. Let's do another double check just to make sure that we are up to date. So we're going to go to our settings, device preferences, about. All right, so we do have some information there. Let's go ahead and do a system update. All right, so it looks like we are up to date. Let's go back. Device information, you can see Mi TV Stick, models right there, Android 11. Patch level is February 5, 2025. All right, and we see the build number right there at the bottom. If we go back, we're going to go to our storage. All right, so you can see of the 8 gigs, we have 3.7 gigs available. So with the 8 gigabytes, storage is going to go by pretty fast. Let's go back home. So one thing I like about Android TV is that it is very customizable. I think it's probably the most customizable option out there. Not only can you add third-party launches, but you can also play with what you get here with the default view. So for instance, right here, if I wanted to move a certain row around, I can just go to the left. You can see I do have the option to either delete the row. Now this is my Netflix recommendations, as you can see there, or I can go ahead and move it up and down. And I can pretty much do all that with anything here. And I do have the option to also remove them just to make a cleaner look. So that's what it's got going for it. I know on Google TV you do get the apps only mode, which I do love. So check that video out. Let me know which one of these options you like better. But love that this has a lot of flexibility. All right, so as far as the default apps, so this is an app that came on the Xiaomi TV Box S as well. You can see when I click on it, guys, for the most part, this is an application that's going to be regionally locked. So this did not work for the TV Box S, and I doubt that it's going to work for the Stick either. So just keep that in mind. Probably just end up uninstalling it, but that application seems to be regionally locked, and I believe it's locked to China. But let me know in the comment section if you're able to access or use this application. All right, so another thing that it's a little bit different from Google TV is that you can add your apps right here. So if you add more apps that you want to bring up to that main menu, you can go ahead, just press the plus button. Then you can go ahead and bring it up to where you need them. Let's get into the Google Assistant a little bit. So let's go ahead and try a couple things. What's the weather like in Nashville, Tennessee? All right, so it's going to give you your information. Works pretty well. Play news on YouTube. All right, so it's going to bring you to YouTube. Go home. All right, so all of that's going to work. It's going to work with your streaming apps as well. Watch Animal Kingdom on Netflix. All right, so like I said, Google Assistant is going to work really well. There's an app button on the remote itself, so let's go ahead and press that and see what it does. All right, so it looks like that actually launches the Xiaomi TV application. So this guy right here, that application just doesn't work in the US. Unfortunately, because the Xiaomi TV Plus is baked into this device, you cannot uninstall it, but you can do a long press and remove it from your favorites. As far as streaming, this again is going to be a TV streaming stick at heart. So for the most part, a lot of these boxes are going to do streaming extremely well. So whether it's 4K, whether it's Prime videos, whether it's Netflix, you should be able to get on here, stream whatever content you want in 4K, and it should work really well. So this is a 4K device. Just wanted to make that clear. So if you go to your settings, and for me, I'm going to go to device preferences. I'm going to go to display and sound. And under screen resolution, you can see it's currently in display mode at 4K 60 Hertz. You do have other options, but I just wanted to clarify that this is a 4K device, just in case questions come up about compatibility with 4K screens. Now again, guys, this is a 4K UHD streaming device, which means you're going to get clear pictures. It's going to look beautiful on the screen, as you can see there. Really loads everything really well. Skip ahead a little bit. All right, so everything just looks beautiful on this device. Again, no difference than what we saw on the Mi Box S, on the Fire TV Stick 4K, on the On devices. Most of these streaming devices are going to handle streaming extremely well. Let's go ahead and check out Stats for Nerds. Let's kind of see how it's performing in the background. All right, so there we are, Stats for Nerds, and I like using this because, like I said, this is going to give you just some background data of what's happening. That way you can really tell how your stream is performing. So you can see the viewpoint frame rate, you can see the current optimal resolution. As far as just frames, you can see out of 2222, we dropped 0 frames. So really like to look at that number. When you see frames start dropping, that's how you know that your device is having some issues keeping up. As far as the everything else, it does show you connection speed, network activity, as well as your buffer health. But we're going to get into the network performance here in a little bit. So again, streaming is going to handle that extremely well, and you shouldn't have any issues. So let's get into the process of jailbreaking, sideloading, installing third-party applications on your device. So plenty of ways to do this. You can use the downloader application. For you guys that are not familiar, downloader basically is a browser. It can be found in your store, so it can be found in the Google Play Store. Once you get to the downloader application, all you need to do is find a website that you can install an APK from. Go to that site, download it directly, and then you should be good to go. But you can also do the same thing with a USB drive. So if you have a USB drive with applications or APKs, you can install them directly and you still will go through the same process. So let's go ahead and go through that process. So first thing you want to do, and I normally just advise doing this, you want to go ahead and just make sure your developer options are turned on. So to do this, you're going to go to your device preferences, you're going to go to about, and you're going to go all the way down to build number. Once you get to the build number, you just want to tap the OK or select button on your remote 7 times, and it should let you into developer options. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you can see now you are a developer. All right, so now we're going to go back 1. You should now see developer options. So if you click on this, have a lot of options here. Like I said, there's so many different options for not only unlocking your device, but you have the USB debugging, you have animations that you can play with, you have your taps, gestures, so many different options. If you really want to dive into this, I do have a video that I made that show you how to get into everything and what everything does, and I definitely recommend checking that out. So once you enable developer options, then you're going to go ahead and enable installation from unknown sources. To do this, you're going to go to your settings again, you're going to go to your apps, you're going to go down, you're going to go to security and restrictions, click on that. You should see the option for unknown sources, click on that again. Now you're going to see the apps that are able to install other applications, and you want to go ahead and turn that on. So for me, downloader is going to be the main one, but also I use File Manager Plus to install applications. I'm going to go ahead and turn that on as well. Being that this device does not have a dedicated USB port, like I said, you can go the downloader route, but we also want to test it out to see if we can install apps using an OTG cable. So let's go ahead and put that to the test. So if you don't know what an OTG adapter is, this is basically it, guys. You're going to have the main plug-in. This is going to go into your device. Then you have the power source, which is going to go to the original plug. Then that leaves you with a USB port. That way you can put whatever you want, whether it's a USB drive, a USB dongle, a hard drive, or Ethernet adapter. We're going to test a couple of those things today. So let's get this set up. So here's the device. First thing we're going to do is we're going to plug into the power source. All right. Now, with the original power plug, we're going to plug into here. Again, this leaves us this guy. And now all we have to do is just plug this into here. And now we have full access to this USB drive. All right, so you're going to see something like this pop up letting you know that, hey, what do you want to do with this? We'll just back out of this for now. But also, if you go to your notifications, click on your notifications, you are going to see a couple notifications here. Hey, what do you want to do with this drive? So you can go ahead and click on any of these to get into the settings, but just in case that goes away, you don't know how to get there. Let's go through the actual steps. So get to the USB storage. We're going to go to our settings, device preferences. Going to go down to storage. So this is your internal storage, 5.2 gigs. We do have my USB drive, so you can see two partitions there. Test partition. When you click on it, you can see you have one option. So by default, the system is not going to let you read files. You will need a file manager for that, which we're going to get into here in a little bit. With this, you do have an option. You can erase and format as device storage. And I explained this in a couple other videos. So what this means is that it's going to merge your device storage as well as your removable disk into one. Once you do this, once you do that format, the USB is not going to be available or readable on any other device. So it will only work with this device. So keep that in mind. For this situation, like I said, you only have one option. But what I do is I download a file manager. It's called File Manager Plus. Probably my favorite file manager currently. This is going to allow you to view the internals of the USB drive. So let's go ahead and check it out. I'm going to go to your permissions. I'm going to have to allow this to view your files. That's how it works. We do have the test folder right here. And I do have a couple test files that we'll be trying out. All right, so here is a 4K video. And remember, guys, this is playing from the USB drive through the OTG adapter. So again, just the ability for it to play a 4K video smoothly. I think that's a real testament to how good this is going to be. Let's go back. All right. The other thing that you can do, of course, is you can install applications. The two apps that I have here, ID64, let's go ahead and install that one. I'm going to go ahead and install it. And this shouldn't take too long. ID64 is a very cool application. It's going to show you the internals of your device, which we're going to show you here in a little bit. So we're also going to install 3D Mark benchmark. We're going to run a benchmark here in a little bit. And we're all done. So the first thing, let's go ahead and we'll jump into ID64. Like I said, ID64, one of my favorite applications for Android TV, Google TV, whatever. It is going to show you everything that's under the hood of your device, so you can see the model number, the brand, hardware, the platform, installed RAM, total memory, available memory. So it is going to basically list everything out for you. You can see the different cores right here. You can see the different storage right there. So really nice to kind of read it in a different way, but besides how they want to show it to you. Here's the CPU, cores. Right, so again, it's going to tell you network, thermals, codecs. Everything's going to be there for you to check out. Pretty cool. So next, let's do a benchmark and see where this stacks up against other streaming devices. Alright, so here we are with the benchmark scores, and this device scored a 581. So as you can see there, the graphics score on this is a 519 and the physics score is a 1003. So physics score, I think it did extremely well. However, the graphics score, I think, brought the average down. Just to give you a comparison of how this scored against other devices, the Fire TV Stick 4K Max scores an 801. The On 4K Pro scored a 584. And the On 4K Plus scored a 1574. So this is fallen a little bit behind the other devices that I mentioned. So not really impressive with the overall score. But I think for streaming, this will be an okay device. So next thing I want to do is a network speed test. I want to do one on wireless over the Wi-Fi, and the other one I want to do wired using an OTG adapter to the USB to Ethernet adapter. Let's go ahead and do that to see if there's any benefits to wiring this device. And the reason why I do this is because some devices, they're capped at about 100 megabits per second. Just want to see where we are with this one particularly. Let's start with the Wi-Fi speed test. I am paying for 500 megabits per second. This is a good distance away from the router, penetrating through a couple walls. So I think for this test it's doing really well. 198 megabits per second on the download and 21 megabits per second on the upload. Let's go ahead and try it wired with an Ethernet adapter. If you look in the top left, you can see that I am on Ethernet. So let's go ahead and run the test again. All right, so you can see that I scored there 245 megabits per second download and 19 megabits per second upload. So what this is telling me that this is not restricted at 100 megs. So if you're someone who doesn't have the best Wi-Fi, hardwiring this device is going to be beneficial. You are going to see better speeds. So overall, I think this is a decent device. I wouldn't call it great. Also would not call this a Fire TV Stick killer, because I believe at this point, the Fire TV Stick 4K Max is a better device and it's priced a lot lower. Now, I do like the design of this stick. The remote is okay. On the streaming front, it is going to do a great job. However, I do think it lacks some in performance, as you can see from the benchmark scores, and to pay over $60 for this, I do not think that's a good value. If you have $60 to spend, you have better options. You have the on 4K devices, both the Pro and the Plus. I will pick over this device. At this rate, I would go for the Fire TV Stick 4K Max over this device. That's running around $35 to $45. And even the Xiaomi TV Box S, which I reviewed a couple days back, is a better buy, maybe coming in at a couple dollars more. This is a decent device, middle of the pack, but I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. What did you like about this device, and do you think it can replace your Fire TV Stick? Of course, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, smash the notification bell. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.